All right, ladies and gentlemen, so please put your hands together for our next esteemed presenter, who is Mr. Anish Nabar from the P3 Group. The topic of the presentation would be Next Gen Battery Strategies 2027 onwards. Over to you, Anish. The stage is all yours. I'm your host, Manu, signing off for now. I will see you all in a bit. All the best.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Anish Nabar. I'm a senior consultant with P3 Group, focused on topic like industrialization or program management, etc. And P3 Group as a company, they are a global automotive and battery technology consultant. We help a lot of customers, build their battery business, develop new battery technologies, help them with technical due diligence, market strategies, market analysis, battery benchmarking, etc. So everything from start to end related to e-mobility and battery, we support with that on the research base. Today I'm going to talk about next-gen battery strategies and the potential challenges around it for 2027 plus. So very recent and very near future. This is basically the storyline for the entire presentation. We're going to talk about the key drivers for the next-gen batteries. What are the current developments in different market? What are the key drivers for localization of the supply chain? Then some of the high-level economic effect on the different markets. And then finally, we'll talk about the summary of the entire thing. Now, everyone is trying to find what is the best technology or best product out there to sell. And different markets have different strategies. This graph here shows you the ramp up of different markets. You can clearly see on this chart, China is basically the leader right now. Their numbers are US and Europe combined higher than that. And even the trend is going upward. There's slight slowdown in the last year, but even then they're growing strong and growing upward. US and Europe, on the other hand, they are slightly stagnant since last year. Europe, to be precise, they have seen a slight decline in the numbers. But overall, the storyline here is China is going very strong. US and Europe is trailing behind and need to catch up. Then talk about the strategies. What are the strategies to have a good battery technology out there? Number one being the diversification. You need to be able to cater to different markets, different application in the market. And to have that different application, you need to have different technologies supporting that. With different technologies, that gives rise to different chemistry. And that's somewhat what you see on the right here. This shows different next-gen technology which can support this application. For example, you have NMC and LFP that is being the current leader in the battery technology in automotive sector. NMC being quite popular on the Western markets, it has a slightly higher performance than LFP, but also comes with a higher price tag. LFP being the leader in technology for the Asian market. Most of the companies, for example, BYD in China, is using LFP. It is getting more popular because of the cost. It is cheaper than NMC, but also it does the job. You don't need to have anything more expensive for that. Some other technologies to highlight in the next-gen batteries are, for example, solid-state batteries, semi-solid state, or you have CNTs or also silicon-dominant anode. And then you have sodium-ion technology. So these are some next-gen battery technologies. Most of them kind of address the performance. So to have more energy density or more energy performance in the batteries, and also is trying to cater trying to get away from the rare metals. So trying to have technology which is staying away from cobalt, which is like a rare metal right now. Then sodium ion, which is a next-gen technology, but it is addressing your low-cost segment. So having a lower density, but also very lower in cost. Some other drivers for the strategy are being a good performance. You need to have good cost. You need to have a good supply chain, a supply chain which is local. Then control over raw material. I mean, raw material can be controlled by having more mining in your own country, or also by recycling or partnering with the different, different leaders globally. Then to have a good industrialization and vertical integration. And all of this strategy addresses by these new technologies in future. Then the market is basically driven mostly by cost and performance. In this graph, you see on Y you have energy density, X you have willingness to pay or the cost. The purple one being the most super energy dense, plus also come with a higher energy tag. So you have a lithium metal or a solid state and a silicon dominant. These are your high performance stuff and also come with a higher price tag. And that's the reason you have aviation, military, and space. These are the operations which are provided by this high performance domain because they have higher energy need, but also have big pockets. They have big budget in the segment. Then you have NMC with high nickel. That's a standard automotive battery for the Western markets. It has good performance and slightly more expensive than the LFP. Then comes in the orange, you have mid-nickel NMC and LFP, which is also automotive, but for economical cars, and then light transportation, etc. And the last one in the green is the sodium ion. That is your cost-effective version from the next gen. It is used in energy storage and like entry-level, very economical car. In this, your lithium metal, solid state, or the silicon dominant, and the sodium ion, that is being your next gen. NMC and LFP being the current technology which is already developed. For example, LFP still has scope to improve like different blend or LFMP, etc. So these are some strategies which are used for the next gen technologies. In the next two slides, we are going to discuss the focus points for different markets. The first one being the focus points for China. So China is focusing a lot on the scaling of the operation. So having control over the raw material. And for China, you know, it is, they are blessed with the raw material. So they have good operation or good investment in mining. And with all this support, they are currently actually facing the oversupply of the material. And with the oversupply of this material is kind of declining the price of NMC and LFP batteries. With that being said, it's making the low-cost variants such as sodium ion less attractive for that market. And then for the technology development, they're focusing on semi-solid state sodium ion LMFP, which is basically LFP with the manganese content in it. For the battery system or the integration, they're focusing more on the cell integration into the vehicle. For example, cell to pack or cell to chassis. That's the technology which is getting quite popular in China. But also on the other spectrum, the battery swapping technology is also getting quite popular. And that covers both ends, integration and standardization. And for the business model, they're focusing on like a one-stop solution for everything. So right from having raw material in-house to having partnership, vertical integration, BMS solution, and consulting. So everything more like a one-stop solution for all your battery needs is what they are trying to push. The next one being the focus topics for US and Europe, or North America and Europe, they're focusing more on industrialization of their operation. So trying to get down the cost and the time is required for SOP, trying to support that with optimization and some government policy. So basically focusing on industrialization and getting that optimized. Similar to China, they are also focusing on localization of the supply chain. They don't have all the materials, all the metals locally available, but they are bringing in new policies such as IRA or like sustainability terms, which makes big partners from around the globe come have operation in their land. Also going more towards the next gen to have less dependency on the rare metal and have better performance. For the market differentiation, as I said, IRA is a big incentive given by the North America to have local operations. So basically focusing on diversification of the product and having local supply chain is the goal. In this chart, basically highlight all the different next-gen strategies and which market is focusing on which technology. For the Western culture, is more of a solid-state batteries, silicon dominant and high nickel version, whereas Asian players, mostly China and other groups, they're focusing on mid-nickel, LFP blend, and sodium ion technology. That's the next-gen batteries for Asian players. This one basically focus topic overall in the globe, but we since already have discussed China and US. We'll quickly skip over this. The main topic for entire battery development globally is to have diversification and localization. These are the two main things that everyone is focusing on right now. Now let's talk about the pack development. On this chart from left to right, you see more of the standardization approach versus to integration approach. In standardization, in standardization, we have a battery swapping concept, which is getting quite popular in China, also in India right now, getting quite popular. This requires to have your standard batteries for multiple vehicles. The challenges being you have to have over 30% of more capacity in the swapping station, and it has a relatively lesser density, energy density. If you go further right, on the integration side, you have standard pack design, basically cell to module to pack. This one makes it more serviceable, flexibility with the OEM integration, but limitations being energy densities being smaller. It is more costly. It's not as cost effective as other components. And then moving on, we have more integration in the vehicle. First one being cell to pack and then cell to chassis. Whereas cell to chassis is a full integration in vehicle. Advantages are being is a good weight distribution, has a better cost, and higher energy density. The drawbacks for these ones are you have higher complexity in recycling and high complexity in serviceability. And this has a couple of global players which are using these technologies. Now we are going to switch gears and talk more about the cost performance of different technology. In here on Y you have additional range, and on the X you have additional cost per pack. The reference being the standard lithium-ion battery. For that, the pack cost is about 10,000 US dollar, and the range is 550 kilometers. As you move on to the right, you have different next-gen technologies. For example, if you replace your anode with silicon in the standard lithium-ion battery, you get additional range of about 300 kilometers, but also pack cost increases by 3,500 US dollar. The highest in the segment is all solid-state battery with the silicon anode, and for that the pack cost is about increased by 9,000 US dollar, but you also get additional range of 550 kilometers. So there is a technology available for each segment and each application. Depending on the application and the budget for the customer, you can choose which next-gen technology you have to take. Now let's talk about the cost with different chemistry. Now in here, NMC and LFP, as I mentioned, those are the current automotive technology being used worldwide. NMC giving more performance but higher cost. And then as you go to the left, you have LFMP, which is the cost-effective version. And in between, in yellow, you have the different blends of NMC and LFMP. With optimizing those different blends, you can have different costs and different performances. And the further right, you have sodium-ion and solid-state battery. The sodium-ion being the cost-effective version of the next gen, and the solid-state battery being the expensive but high-performance version. Now let's talk about the supply chain localization. As we know, all the Asian players, and I keep saying China a lot, but it's not just China. Japan and Korea have all the heritage and the legacy of having the leader in battery technology. China just had recently hit the gas pretty hard, and they are growing quickly. But all Asian player has been a leader in this technology. And what US and Europe is trying to do is trying to promote the localization of the supply chain. What is Europe trying to do is they are focusing more on sustainability and the compliance of the supplier on sustainability grounds to have local sourcing of the material. And on the US side, they are pushing more on the IRA. IRA is a Inflation Reduction Act, which is kind of giving a lot of incentive and also forcing customer to be in American ground. And the IRA being passed, they're kind of forcing all the players to come to US, skipping over Europe, and that is causing kind of supply chain issue in Europe. So this has changed overall global investment strategies. So for example, Europe is investing in US for partnership, and China is supplying Europe for partnership. And there's a localization of the supplier base in US itself. Now finally, let's talk about the summary. As you see, from the market point of view, China is growing a lot. US and Europe has to catch up, but they have a vast plan for next 10 years and have good ambition. Then diversification is the key. For the different market, different technology, you need to have diversify your portfolio. Localization of the supply chain is a big thing for globally in every market. And then the big effect of IRA over the world politics and world supply chain. So that has been the summary of the presentation. If you guys have any question, further collaboration, you can reach out to these people or you can reach out to me right now. Thank you.